Hey everybody, and welcome to or back to my channel, My Kind of Stuff, and let's talk about all the books I read in November and December. So I had a couple pretty bad reading months. I didn't read very much in November and December. I was traveling a lot for work and personal reasons. I was also fairly sick. So yeah, they were pretty rough reading months for me, and yeah, so I figured I would just do my wrap ups kind of lumped together for these 2 months because there honestly just aren't that many books compared to what I normally have. And yeah, we'll kind of just do them sort of rapid fire. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about them. Also, like the ones I read in November were I read so long ago now that I don't even remember them all that well. But let's start off with November. I started off the month by reading Heartless Hunter, which is book one of the Crimson Moth series by Kristen Cicerelli. I ended up giving that one 4 stars. Um, I liked it more than I thought I would. Given that it's more of like a YA sort of series. I did find myself at times a little bit irritated with the characters' decisions and choices, just because they felt a little bit more young. But still, overall, I really liked the story. I liked where it went, so much so that I immediately picked up the next book, which is Rebel Witch, and continued the series and actually ended up giving book two 4.5 stars. So, yeah, I was actually really proud of myself for binging through the whole series like that. I am not a series binger whatsoever. Um, the most I normally do is like I'll read book 1 month, maybe the next month I'll read book 2, the next month I'll read book 3, but like for me to back read 2 books in a row like that, that's rarely do I do that. So that says a lot about how much I liked it. So yeah, happy, proud of myself I did that. The next book I picked up was We Love You, Bunny by Mona Awad. I was so excited for this. I loved Bunny when I read it a couple of years ago, and I just could not wait to get my hands on this one. I love this edition too from Barnes and Noble with all the axes on the inside cover. It's just so cute. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I could see how this would not be for everybody, and honestly, some of the parts in here uh, are difficult to get through. Um, we kind of shift different perspectives, like we go from first person to third person, and like it's a little jarring, but like overall, I still really loved the story. I think it was just so interesting. And if you can get past that, which normally I can't, um, I don't know. I don't know why in this case it worked for me, and I think maybe it's because we kept shifting back and forth where I was okay with it because we didn't just stay in that one perspective the whole time. Um, but yeah, it's just so fun and twisted. But I could definitely see, like, how this rubbed people the wrong way, and it would not be for everybody, but it definitely worked for me. This was a lot of fun, and I had a great time with it. The next book I read was The Kings of Kearney by Navessa Allen. This one I actually listened to on the airplane to New Hampshire on a work trip, and I ended up giving it 4 stars as well. I thought it was a lot of fun. This one is a motorcycle club romance, very sassy female main character. I really liked her. Um, she also had like an elderly grandmother character in this book that like I just absolutely loved. She was so funny. So I think I liked the characters in this one more than the actual plot of the book. Like, I didn't think the plot was all that great, but the characters just really made it for me. Um, so yeah, I kind of like I don't know why when I read this, I thought it was part of a series, but it's not. It's a standalone. Which was a little disappointing when I went to review it, like on Goodreads and put my rating. I was like, oh, there's not more of this. I don't know why I thought there would be more, like a spin-off of one of the other bikers from the biker gang or like something else. Like I don't know. I was expecting more and there wasn't more and I was a little disappointed. But yeah, still really enjoyed it. So happy I read that one. The next book I picked up was The Unworthy by Augustina Bastarrica. Um, this one is a translated work. We followed like a cloister of nuns. It was very dark and twisted, and I don't know. I ended up giving it 2 stars. It was a little hard for me to follow. Um, and also just I don't know. I felt like it was way too short that like I just didn't get enough from it. Um and I know that like her works have a lot of like important messages behind them, but every time I read them, I just always feel like I need more. Like I just feel left wanting more out of them. Like the story just like is so abrupt and like it wraps up too quickly and I just don't get enough out of it. I don't know. It's so yeah. 2 stars for me. It's whatever. It was on my horror bingo card, so I read it. But yeah. Next up, I read Soul Searching by Layla Sage. Ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. This was super, super cute. This is book 1 in what will be the Sweetwater Peak series. No idea when the rest of the books are coming out, but I cannot wait. I will be reading all of them. I was pleasantly surprised that we got some cameos from some of the characters from the is it Rebel Blue Ranch? That's her other series, right? Her like cowboy romance series. Um we got some cameos towards the end of the book from like people from that series and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I recognize these people." So that was kind of neat. Like you don't need to have read that series to like it doesn't matter that they were from there. I just recognized the names and was like, "Oh, that's neat. That's cool. I know those people." But this one is just kind of a small town romance. We follow a female main character who's a photographer. She's kind of down on her luck, so she moves back home and meets our male main character who is an upholsterer, and they kind of start hanging out, spending time together, and sort of investigating this like haunted house because she's kind of like a medium of sorts, and it's just a really cute, heartwarming story. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was adorable. And the last book that I picked up in November was just a little novella. It was Kingfisher's Point of View, which is, I believe, just only in audio. I listened to it on Audible, um, which is meant to be read between Quicksilver and Brimstone, which is part of Callie Hart's Fae and Alchemy series, just because I knew Brimstone was coming out and I just wanted to have that read in preparation for Brimstone. I ended up giving that 3 stars. I don't think it was necessary to read. I feel like I didn't really get anything out of it, but I read it. It was fun. It was cute. It is what it is. All right. So those were all the books I read in November. Then we got into December. And the first book I read was Alcatraz vs. the Evil Librarians, which is book 1 in the Alcatraz vs. the Evil Librarians series by Brandon Sanderson. This is another middle grade series that I randomly picked up because I've been slowly kind of dabbling my way through Brandon Sanderson. It's my husband's favorite author, so I've just kind of been trying all of his works. I didn't even know that this series existed until I saw someone else on BookTube talking about it, and they had been reading through the series and having a really great time with it. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll check it out. I've been having fun with middle grade series lately, and she was comparing it to like Percy Jackson, and I absolutely love that series. So picked it up, absolutely loved it. 5 stars, easy. And yeah, so happy I grabbed it. And I actually ended up picking it up for the daughter of a friend of mine. I bought her the whole box set of it, so I hope that she loves it too. And then next up, I ended up picking up Brimstone by Callie Hart. Talk about being let down by a continuation. I loved Quicksilver so much. Um, I don't know what happened here. Um, the characters were fun, were great. Like I loved Kingfisher and Carrion's like little banter back and forth the whole time, but like why why did everything come so easy for a female main character? Like literally everything that should have been a struggle just wasn't. She's just naturally like good at everything that should have been difficult. Like just I feel like everything is just handed to her on a gold platter and it's really annoying. And also, why can we not follow the same spelling of names throughout a book? It's really irritating. If you like read this physically, we just like decide partway through to like change the spelling of someone's name and then change it back and then change it again and then change it back and like it's oh it drove me nuts. And then also like how freaking dare you, Callie Hart? How dare you toy with my emotions not once but twice? Man, I don't know, man. 3.5 stars. It was characters are great. I had fun, but like I was pretty pretty let down. And like I feel like this whole book was all about side characters. Like it I don't know, the plot didn't feel like it moved along because of our couple, right? Like they were there together to get it on, and that's all they did together. The plot only moved forward because of them and things they did with side characters, but not because of anything they did together, it felt like. So, I don't know. I'm excited for another book in the series, like just to see what happens. I'm still interested in the story, but I was very much let down by this because I was really expecting a 5 star here and I that is not what I got. Next, I picked up The Place Where They Buried Your Heart by Christina Henry. Um, this was my first Christina Henry book. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I was really invested for like the first probably 3 quarters of this book, and it kind of lost me towards the end. I feel like the pacing, like it kind of dragged on a little too long towards the end. Um, but overall, it was still really like eerie and creepy. It definitely has a sort of cosmic horror feel, which I think maybe I didn't really realize that going in, and cosmic horror doesn't generally work for me. So maybe had I known that, I might not have picked it up. I thought this was going to be more of a traditional haunted house story. So that's, I guess, on me for not really looking into it all that much. I just saw a creepy house on the cover and was like, oh, haunted house book. So maybe I should have read the synopsis and oh, that's on me. But we follow a woman who, when she was younger, had was a teenager, was kind of in a bad mood one day, and her brother was kind of asking her to hang out, like her younger brother, and she sent him and his friends away to like go hang out in this haunted house because she didn't want to be bothered with him. And they kind of got attacked, and her brother never returned. He never came back out. And she's kind of spent her whole life in this same neighborhood, kind of revolving around this house that essentially like ate her brother. Um and it's kind of just like been an obsession her whole life. It's like what happened to her brother. And this house has kind of been known to like eat people essentially. Um and it's kind of just like the whole neighborhood is sort of involved in like trying to figure out like what is going on with this house, what is happening. And it was definitely really unique and interesting, but it definitely started dragging on a little too long at the end, and it got kind of I don't know, a little weird and wild at the end. And I think that's where the cosmic horror thing kind of really came into play. And I kind of like I don't know. It felt like a miss for me at the end. Like the twist at the end didn't really work for me. But overall, I still had a decent time with it. So yeah, 3.5 stars. Then next up, I picked up Tender Cruelty by Katie Robert. I believe this is book 9 in the Dark Olympus series. Um, I have been like back and forth on this bandwagon of a series. I don't know. I've considered DNFing it many times. I started off loving it. Then we had quite a few books that I just absolutely hated. And then we got a couple books that I really, really loved. And now this one was a 2 star for me. So we're back down the roller coaster again. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. Again, I'm going to keep continuing because we do find those hidden gems in here where I'm like absolutely obsessed. So yeah, I don't know. This one was just a complete flop for me. It was sort of like a marriage of convenience sort of thing where like she was plotting all along to murder him after she had an heir, but like then they end up falling in love. And I don't know. I don't really love stories with like arranged marriages or marriage of convenience. They just don't really ever hit for me generally. So I guess just off the bat, like the plot really wasn't for me, but just the characters weren't really all that interesting either. And they're characters too that like we've been following for a lot of books now in the background anyway. Um, So we didn't really learn much new about them. So it was just kind of boring the whole time. I was just like, okay, did they really need their own book? Because we didn't really get anything new added to the story with them, because all this information we're being fed here is information we just got from the last like 2, 3 books in the series, because they were like all prevalent characters in the last couple books. So it was just a little boring to me. But hoping that I enjoy the next one because I really like the last 2 books. So we'll see. We'll see what happens as the series continues because she cranks out a couple of them a year. Then followed that up by reading the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook by Matt Dinneman. This is book 3 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Um, this has definitely been my least favorite so far, but I still gave it 4 stars. I still absolutely loved it. Um, it was just the setting on this one that I didn't absolutely love. It felt very contained. Um, and I don't it's not really a spoiler because it's literally on the cover, but like it very much has to do with like a train, right? So instead of like I don't know, it's still a dungeon because like obviously the train is moving, like, but it just felt so confined. Um, so I don't know. It just didn't feel as expansive as all the other books. But it was still a fun, silly, goofy time with lots of social commentary and important topics being discussed in here. Um, and I'm still continuing the series, I'm already reading the next books. So obviously it didn't hold me back from wanting to continue. I still absolutely love it. Um, so yeah, absolutely adore this series. I think everyone should read it. Um, the audiobooks for these are absolutely fantastic as well. I really enjoy like tandem reading. So I listen to the audiobook while also physically reading. It's very immersive and yeah, a whole lot of fun. So absolutely love this series. And then just a couple days before Christmas, I decided to pick up Good Spirits by BK Borison. Um, this I was a little confused on the plot and honestly, even after reading it, still a little confused. It's definitely goofy, but like it was absolutely adorable, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. This is one that I absolutely do not recommend the audiobook on. I think I don't know, the male main character just really he felt I don't know, he made me feel very disconnected from the story. He just did not sound like what I thought he should or would sound like. I don't know. But the story itself was fun and silly and goofy, but like so adorable, so heartwarming. Especially for like a holiday romance. He is the ghost of Christmas past, and he is sent to our female main character for he believes to help her, and that's it's just so adorable, and he is kind of just like grumpy like cat dad. It's super funny. And so sweet, and yeah, I just had a really good time with it. It was just like the perfect little holiday read just to read like those couple days around Christmas. And yeah, this was the only holiday book I read this year. Just I didn't really have time. I was traveling a lot and just had a lot going on. Last year, I feel like that's all I read all December was holiday books. And I kind of got burnt out on them. So having this be like the only one that I read this year, uh, I think, I'm glad that it was good. I'm glad that I enjoyed it. And yeah, happy that it was a good one. And the last book that I tried reading in December but ended up being a DNF was The Emma Effect by Leah Riley. This was supposed to be sort of like a Jane Austen retelling, but honestly, besides our female main character's like AI model being named after a Jane Austen novel, there wasn't really any Jane Austen trickled into this book at all. We follow our female main character who makes this AI model that is supposed to help hockey players like train better, like learn what they're doing wrong and how they can improve and stuff like that. And we bring our male main character on as kind of like a training model, and he's also like from her past, so there's chemistry there. And I don't know, it was just overall the female main character felt super flat and boring. She just had no personality at all. The male main character was okay, but like I just every time I put the book down, it would be like maybe a week before I would pick it back up again. I had an art copy of this. And honestly, I picked this up in November is when I started reading it. And I finally DNF'd it at the end of December because I mean, for 2 months I was trying to read this and I just couldn't bring myself to like pick it up. Um, and I've read all of Leah Riley's books up until now. And I've liked all of them for the most part, except for one. and this is the only one that I just straight up could not get through. So, a little disappointed, but I gave it a good old college try, but yeah, wasn't for me, and I don't understand where the Jane Austen was supposed to come in. And yeah, that was all the books I read in November and December. Like I said, it's I guess now talking about it seems like a lot, but like what I read in 2 months is normally what I read in like 1 month. So, it definitely feels like I didn't read very much at all to me. Just because I normally read like 15 to 20 books in a month. So, yeah, I I'm excited for January. I hope I get a lot more reading accomplished. We'll see. We'll see what it brings. And yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up on your way out, and I will catch you guys in the next one.